As part of the Arts Week events happening around Boston, there will be a special reading of a children's book hosted by BNN TV. The book is called The Pajamas of My Dreams. We'd like to welcome the creative team, the author Laurie Collins and illustrator Margie Florini. Thank you both very much for being with us.
Thank you.
I want to start with Laurie. Talk about how you came up with the idea for the book.
I work as a children's librarian in the state of Massachusetts for the last 15 years. And I often did drives for Cradles to Crayons with my library families. And then Massachusetts Libraries and the Boston Bruins kicked in a program with Cradles to Crayons every February for a pajama drive. And I always felt I didn't have quite the right book to share at story times that we did around the pajama drive, so I wrote one.
Now describe what those story times were like around the drive. Give me a picture.
Kids wear their pajamas to the library. They bring pajamas to donate to Cradles to Crayons. And we read lots of books about pajamas.
Okay. Margie, what about your picturing of this story? How did you do it?
When Laurie handed me the words, they were very gentle and sensitive, and I pictured parents putting their children to bed. So I depicted the words in cut paper collage, thinking that it felt more like a quilt, piecing the papers, on top of each other adjacent. And the colors and the patterns reminded me of a quilt to be studied quietly by the parents and children.
Because Laurie, the other thing going on here is, and this is certainly a lot clearer if you're talking about a drive, is that some kids have all the accoutrements of a good night's sleep and a wonderful bedroom, and some of them don't.
That's so true, and that's exactly what the book depicts. For children who have designer bedrooms, it reminds them that not every child does. But there's also a piece in there for children who don't have the designer bedroom, but perhaps see them on TV and think that everybody has that. So when they get to the end of our book, they get to think, well, gee, I'm not alone.
Right. Margie, I guess this is also something you want to picture so that when a parent is reading with a child, you almost spill off the page. You can talk about the book and what's surrounded in that bedroom.
Thank you very much. When I read the book, I didn't want to be literal and have the dreams on the jammies. I wanted the dreams to be so big that they would fly right out the window and off the book.
Yeah. Laurie, what about your experience? Now that you've had a chance maybe to run this book in a reading, what was it like?
Well, it's interesting to see who you touch in the crowd. There have been times when it's been noisy, say in a bookstore or whatever, and we start to read and the noise continues, and then as we get towards the end of the book, it gets very quiet. And sometimes we look up, there's not a dry eye in the house. And we really do feel that sometimes we touch children, just one child at a time, that we look out into the sea of faces and we see that one child who really understood what we were saying.
Right. Margie, have you done some trials with us, reading it to children that you come across, whether it's in a family or friends or anything like that?
I never did. I've been the partner with Laurie. She's usually reading, or we have people at events read also. But to be honest with you, I have lots of nephews and nieces and grandnephews and nieces, but I never have read the book that way. I read it internally, I felt it, I created the art for it that way.
Well, it's funny because we had 143 preschoolers, well, 143 people, 75 preschoolers at the Peabody Essex Museum. And Margie was like, I don't know how you did that. But you just keep going. You just keep reading, and they get what they get.
Now, I usually reading for children is something you do almost in a customized way. With one kid, I can't handle more than one kid, maybe. But what is it that hooks the kids exactly?
There's all different things that gets their attention. The book is actually written so that if you read the top refrain, you could read it with younger children and just look at the pictures. It's a recurring refrain in The Pajamas of My Dreams. I climb into bed. And the bottom part of the book is more vocabulary laden and meant for an older child, although we find that many young children learn the entomologist and the equestrian. They learn those professions and the serious names that go along with them.
And I guess that's the idea, maybe, Margie, is a child hears a strange word and says, Mommy or Daddy, what is that?
What is that? And the pictures are clear. And as Laurie said, even the youngest children, if they have enjoyed looking at spiders or bugs or dinosaurs, they gravitate to that page. They get very excited to share that they know these words. They know the words Laurie is writing in the text.
What's also going on here is a partnership between the two of you. And how did that start out, Laurie?
Well,
before you knew you were partners, maybe.
No, it's so true. Well, I had thought about writing this book for a long time, and I had started to write it and edited it and then gone back again. And then when I thought, okay, this is finished enough, I gave it to Margie because I know how truly gifted she is. She's an artist who works in many mediums, but her cut paper is my favorite. And so I handed it over to her, and she said, well, what were you thinking? And I said, well, if this was a traditional publishing arrangement, I would hand over the words and I would have no say. So here you go.
Right. Margie, I guess the two of you go back, if not to early childhood, at least to school years, right?
High school, yes. We met in the band. We were doing a counter march routine with the band. Laurie's a percussionist, a drummer, and a big side drum on her knee, and I was a piccolo player. And as we did the counter march, we slammed into each other and have been fast friends ever since.
Drum versus piccolo, no contest. Laurie, I've got to ask you about the reading at BNN. This is going to be happening on Wednesday, is it?
Yes. There'll be a classroom from a Boston school, and they're going to come in and hear the book read. We have the Pajamas of My Dreams wrap. Hopefully we'll share that with them. At most of our events, although not this week, we also have a beautiful cut paper collage craft that we offer.
Plus you have Facebook information that people can catch up on as well.
Yes. Facebook.com, Pajamas of My Dreams, or just www.pajamasofmydreams.com.